on this episode of Raising the Wild Ones podcast. So while I sit there, I take my shoes off, and I take my hat off, and I lean up against the tree, and I fall flat asleep. I am out cold.
Those are some of the best naps.
Yeah, I know they are. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of open my eyes, and when I open my eyes, I kind of look over, and no joke, man, 50 yards from me is this doe just sitting there.
I climb up in the deer stand, I take a drink of coffee, I set it down, and I look up, and here he comes. Like
right
that.
there.
It was awesome. It was the best deer hunt because I literally walk in, get a drink of coffee, set it down, here he comes.
Hey guys, I'm Dustin.
And I'm Caleb, and we are Raising the Wild Ones podcast.
This is a podcast where we are going to discuss theology, parenting, and the great outdoors, and honestly, whatever else really just comes up. You like to duff hunt? Do you like to duff hunt?
Yes, I like to duff hunt.
You think we should do a podcast while we duff hunt?
I think so. I think that would be neat. It would be cool to be all right, talking, and oh wait, get quiet, and then
shoot some guns,
and then break the microphone.
Don't shoot the microphone. That wouldn't be fun.
Oh wait, yeah, that's
Yeah, it
shoot
be
the
great.
microphone.
Shoot the microphone.
Yeah.
So, what is the best deer hunting story you've got?
I've got a pretty cool one. So when I was, again, junior high-ish age, my dad, he was an ag teacher too. So we would go around and weigh people's pigs.
Yeah.
We'd load scales up. We'd go around, weigh pigs. So we had a place that our friends lived on that they kept their pigs on, but we also leased with them the land around their house. And so they would hunt, we would hunt. We had a deer stand set up. They had a deer stand set up. Oh, I hit the table here.
Fine.
Gonna knock it down, make a big loud noise. So I got my hands waving all over the place while I'm talking. But so we went and weighed their pigs, unloaded the scales, see how big the pigs are, how much they're growing and stuff. And I took my gun. He got his gun. We were like, we've got just a little bit of time left. We're gonna go walk around this place and just walk around, see what we see. So we're walking, we're talking. Junior high kids were probably stomping all over the place, making a bunch of noise. Probably shouldn't have seen anything. So we're walking, and we kind of come around this tree line and look up on this little rise, and we see this deer. And I look through the scope, and I'm like, we got to shoot this deer. And he's like, all right, let's go. So we shoot it. We get our scopes on it. We count 1, 2, 3, shoot. The deer had 2 bullet holes 2 inches roughly apart,
Man.
a couple inches apart, and it was an 8-point that scored, if you know anything about scoring.
Yeah.
Roughly 130 inches, a little over 130 inches.
Yeah.
Good mass, 12, 13. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'll tell that story in a second. It's 12, 13, 14 inches tall. It was tall.
Yeah.
It was at that point, the best. I didn't shoot another deer that good or better until I was 2017, and that probably happened early 2000s.
Early, man.
Yeah, so it was cool. And what we did, we got it mounted. And for years, they would keep it a month. Then we would keep it a month. Then they would keep the mount. The mount.
Yeah, you'd keep the mount.
The shoulder mount. And then after college, somewhere around there, I had it for quite a while, years. And then several years ago, he has it. So it's not like we don't trade it out every month, but
you trade
now
it
it's
out
every
once in a while.
It's every once in a while.
Yeah.
Years go by at this
Yeah.
point, but it's still, it was a cool story.
That's a good
cool,
one.
cool
That's a good
memory.
one.
What about you?
Okay, so I'll be honest, I don't have a really shot a big deer story. I mean, you can see for those of you, maybe one day I'll show you the room where we record, but right above my computer is this crossbow that I made, and then there's some deer horns up in it. The one that's over to the side is probably the biggest, and it's a 8. It's a small 8, really. It's not a very big 8 at all.
Did you make that crossbow?
I totally made that crossbow.
Did you kill the deer with a crossbow?
I did not. I was actually, because I'm a weird guy. I am weird. I'm just going to say it. I do theater stuff, and I made that crossbow for Robin Hood. And so I was Little John in a play here in Brownwood for Robin Hood because I'm a pretty big guy, and Little John's a big dude.
Yeah.
And so I made that crossbow as a prop, and so it intentionally does not fire. And And what's
funny, I think we had met I guess we'd been going to Sunday school together.
Yeah.
Kind of knew each other, but not real well. And my kids went and saw that play, and my wife, they all went and saw that play, and they thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Got to see it.
Oh, that's Dustin. That's that random guy.
Yeah.
You can also hear my dogs in the background. I've got a young dog and an old dog, and the young dog really likes to pester the old dog.
I get it.
And so I've got a really awesome place that I get to hunt at. And so it's here in Texas, there's a lot of ranches that are high fenced. And for those of you guys that don't know what a high fenced is, it's basically where you've got a lot of acreage that's all high fenced, and so you're running your own deer herds and stuff like that. And so I actually have the opportunity to hunt on one of these such high fence places. But I don't get to shoot any of the big deer, like at all. Because with a lot of these places, they do what they call cull hunts, where you basically go and you just shoot does. And so that's what I do. A lot of the people don't want to shoot the does. They want to shoot the big deer and the big bucks. And so then you get Dustin, who just randomly goes and shoot does. And so one of my favorite deer hunting stories is I was going deer hunting, and it was just after work. And so for those of you who live in the great state of Texas, November in Texas is not as cold as you would like it to be. And so I remember I was hot at work, and I went straight from work, and I went straight to the deer lease. And so I get out there, and a buddy of mine, Mickey, and so he's like, I'm like, where am I hunting today, Mickey? Because he's the manager of the place. And so he tells me, hey, just go sit up under those trees over there and, shoot yourself a doe. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so he's like, get there early, Dustin. They come out really early over there. And I'm like, yeah, right, Mickey, they don't. And so he's like, no, I'm telling you, you need to get there early at like 3 o'clock because they're going to come out at like 3:05. And I'm like, that's like, no,
I'm
they're
still
not.
working at that point, yeah.
Come on. It's like, get there early. And so I find a spot under this tree, and I'm like, I'm going to sit under this tree for maybe an hour, and then I'm going to go start walking. I'm going to kind of walk some creek bottoms and stuff. So while I sit there, I take my shoes off, and I take my hat off, and I lean up against the tree, and I fall flat asleep. I am out cold.
Those are some of the best naps.
Yeah, I know they are. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of open my eyes. And when I open my eyes, I kind of look over. And no joke, man, 50 yards from me is this doe just sitting there. Broadside, perfect. I mean, it's you couldn't get any better. And I look over, and I've taken my shoes off. I've taken my socks off. I am totally barefoot.
You're comfortable.
I am comfortable. And so I pull up, and I shoot, and I drop her, and it was a good shot, just kind of right on the front shoulder. And then it dawns on me as I get up to go walk over that I never put my shoes on. And so I'm like, Lindsay, my wife, was giving me such a hard time because she's like, you're just so connected with nature that you had to shoot a deer barefoot.
That's funny.
And I'm like, yep, totally, because I was napping.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
It's a good deer story for me.
I had a similar one. I didn't fall asleep, but I was sleepy. The biggest deer I killed in 2017 was Thanksgiving evening.
Yeah.
You go to the Thanksgiving meal while everybody was still sitting, or most people had left. Few people were still there. Put my camo on, got my gun, went back, shot the deer not long after that. But this year, so that was 2017. This year, this Thanksgiving evening. So since then, I've tried to go, if I can, go hunting then because it was good luck, I guess. And so I went this year, same thing, but we went home for a while, and then I went back, and I was running late because I was tired. We'd been to Thanksgiving. You get home with kids and all that. And then so I call my mom. I'm like, I'm going to fall asleep. Can you make me a coffee? And normally I can't drink coffee in the evenings, but I'm like, I will fall asleep in the deer stand if I don't have a coffee.
Don't have a cup of coffee.
So, and the day before, I had a good buck show up on camera, this 10-point, good, nice buck. And my dad's like, you gotta get out there. What are you doing? And I'm like, I need coffee. So she makes me a cup of coffee. I get it. I'm walking out there. I'm late. I'm way late. I think the evening before the deer was on camera, and the time had already passed, when he was there.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember right. So I'm getting out there. I'm like, he's in the area. I know because he was on camera that evening, and the morning before, I think. So I climb up in the deer stand. I take a drink of coffee. I set it down, and I look up, and here he comes. Like
right
that.
there.
It was awesome. It was the best deer hunt because I literally walk in, get a drink of coffee, set it down. Here he comes.
You're not even done being quiet.
I'm not even done being quiet. I've climbed up in the stand. I sat down. I put a shell in the gun, but yeah, it was fast.
Yeah.
And I ended up not drinking the coffee.
Have you gone deer hunting with your kids yet?
Yes, but not real deer hunting, if that makes sense.
just there's some good ones. I'm like, you talk about like being quiet. And
Yes.
I took Lydia deer hunting with me last year, and we've gone deer hunting with the kids yet. My oldest, I'm hoping this year, he's probably listening around the corner, but I'm hoping this year he gets his first deer this year.
Yeah.
So I take Lydia with me, and she's like nonchalant. We find this spot, and we lay kind of by this like dirt hill, and we're kind of peeking over the dirt hill and like coming back down. And so she's like sitting there playing with dirt clods and all that kind of stuff. And she's just like whispering in a good kid whisper, like, "Dad, hey Dad, when's the deer come out?" And I'm like, "Well, they'll come out, hon. Don't worry. It'll happen." And then I look over, and sure enough, like 5 or 6 doe have kind of walked out on the back of this little field. And I'm like, "Hey, girlie, don't move too quick. But there's some doe on the back of the field." And she turns and she shoots her head up and she goes, "Dad, where?" And she shoots her head up. And then all 3 of the doe have kind of like looked at us. And then what makes it so cute is as like quiet as she can be, she just goes, "Dad, I think they see us."
Yeah. I wonder why.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then they all ran off.
That's funny. Now that I was thinking about it, I actually did take my middle one this year hunting at least once, and we have a little box blind on our place, and on one place we hunt, and he actually sat there quietly and did really well, now that I think about it. So I have, and I think I did that maybe once or twice, and we had a decent little buck come in, and he sat quietly and watched it. And
most of mine are great until the deer show up. And I know what it is, man, because I remember when I was a kid, man, when the deer would show up, I'd get so excited.
Yes.
That you would just sit there and you're like trying to control your breathing, but you're like, your heart's pounding. And I know my oldest, he's just like, "Dad, what do we do?" And I'm like, well, are you going to shoot that one? Like, no, we're going to wait. We're going to see if another one. "No, Dad, I think it's," and he's just like has to tell me every second. And I'm like, "It's all right, bud. It's okay." But you just get so excited. And it's like almost like as an adult, I've forgotten like how exciting it is to go hunting as a kid,
Yeah. I don't think my kids have gotten that interested in it yet. Like they haven't quite reached that.
I really think Lydia is going to be my hunter.
Yeah.
But so another kind of like about me is, so I process my own deer, and so I don't take them to the processor. We've got a grinder, and so we do it all kind of in the backyard where we kind of like quarter them. We put them in coolers, and then we process them. And the kid that helps me is Lydia. Lydia will stand there with a knife, and she will process the deer with me, and it's kind of fun. I mean, the other boys will help, but it's like, no, my middle girl, she's the one. She's gonna be my deer hunter, and I can feel it. And it's like she's gonna be the one that's gonna have the big deer. It's gonna be good times.
That's cool. And one thing that's funny is you learn when you take kids hunting, somebody's gonna have to go to the restroom
all the time.
All the time. So be prepared for that.
Be prepared to go to the bathroom somewhere.
Yeah. Have an empty bottle with you.
Just right there.
Something.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's going to happen.
Yep, it's going to happen. Fishing, too. They're going to have to go to the bathroom when fishing.
2 of my boys went, I guess they've all at some point gone dove hunting with me. Last year, I remember one time I took my 2 youngest, and they did really well. They loved it, which that's a good intro hunt, because you're yelling and you're talking to people, and you kind of want to stay hidden because they'll see you and flare and go off different way. But at the same time, you don't have to be super still and quiet. So you can talk, and they can wander around a little bit, and it's fun, and they make really good bird dogs. As long as they're not scared of touching the bird.
Touching the bird.
They make really good bird dogs.
Oh, dove hunting. Dove hunting's fun. I always say I like going dove hunting, and the only reason I like going dove hunting is like hanging out with the guys that I go dove hunting with.
Yes.
That's like my favorite part about dove hunting.
And dove hunting's fun when you have a big group.
Yeah.
When it's just you by yourself, it doesn't seem to always work out.
And you're like,
and if there's a bunch flying near you, it would be fun. But if you're by yourself, it seems like the more people you have, the more doves you're going to have, because people are stirring and doves are flying. And
they're flying.
They see somebody over there and they flare to you. They come to you.
Yep.
They see you. They go to somebody else. Maybe that person gets up and walks around a little bit, scares a dove to you. It's
fun stuff.
And you can yell at each other and make fun of each other.
Oh, yeah, exactly. When they miss, like me, like I all the time miss.
Yeah. So that's fun stuff.
That's good stuff.
Oh,
well, I guess that kind of wraps up this first Patreon episode of us talking about deer hunting. Maybe next time we'll talk about fishing. I'm a fisherman, man. I've got some good fishing
I like fishing.
stories.
We're getting into fishing a little more this summer.
I will end with this one fishing story.
All
It's
right.
one of my favorite stories of all time. And so I was like 18, and so we go to the beach all the time. Me and my parents, we would always go to the beach growing up. We'd do like 3 or 4 times. We'd go down to Port Aransas, if you know, in Texas. It's kind of right down from Corpus Christi. And so my favorite thing to do is surf fish. And so you kind of walk out to the second breaker, you kind of throw your stuff out there, and you can catch a lot of like good stuff. You can catch some what they call whiting, sand trout, you can catch gaff top, which is kind of like a sea catfish. All of them are really good eating, but if you're lucky, you catch shark.
Nice.
And so not massive sharks, but sometimes little sharks. And so me and my dad are out fishing one day. And so we're catching what they call a hardhead. And if you know anything about gulf fishing, a hardhead is not a keeper, and they bite and they steal your bait all the time, and they make you mad because you're catching them all the time. It's like, that's another stupid hardhead. It's another stupid hardhead. And so we're fishing, and so sure enough, I had thrown it out there, and I mean, it hadn't been on the ground for maybe like 2 or 3 minutes on the bottom, and then bam, I get a hit and set it, and I'm like, and my dad's like, what you got? And I'm like, another stupid hardhead,
Yeah.
And so I start reeling it in, and a little bit more of a fight, and I'm like, okay, interesting. And then it dawns on me. My line is heading to a spot about 1.5 feet in front of where I swear a fin just popped up over the waves.
So you're like, it's a pretty
And I'm
big
like,
one.
man, it's a big hardhead. And then in the back of my mind is like, or is it a shark? And I'm like, just to be safe, and so when you're fishing, you're about waist deep water in the surf. And so I start letting line out, and I'm like, I'm going to let him run for a minute, and I'm going to walk back to where I'm about ankle deep to finish reeling this in, because maybe it's a shark. And so I start reeling it in, and well, sure enough, if there's people around the beach and you're catching something and you're fighting something, you gather a crowd. It may not be a big crowd, but
I would go watch.
you'll become walking over. And so this guy walks over, and he starts asking me, he's like, hey, bud, man, what you got? And I'm like, I don't know, man, we've been catching hardhead all day. Man, what do you think it is? I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe it could be a shark. And he's like, a shark? Oh, man, that's so cool. And so about this time, his wife, yells from the distance, what's he got on the line? And he's like, oh, it's a shark. And then, if you could, see on a podcast right now, the guy's, got his hands, outstretched completely wide. And it's, this big.
5 foot.
Yeah, 5 foot.
Yeah.
It was not a 5-foot shark. And by this time, I've got it in close enough where, yep, it's a shark. We've got a shark. It's actually a black tip is what it was. And he's like, yeah, it's this big. And she starts freaking out. And so she, takes off sprinting towards her kids who are currently swimming in, ankle deep water. And she's like,
Oh, yeah.
kids, there's sharks in the water.
Of course there's sharks in the water.
Get
Yeah.
And so she starts doing this, and her kids start coming in, and other people start freaking out. And I kind of look down the beach. As I look down the beach, people are pointing and staring at, now we've gotten it off the hook. And I don't know if you've ever had shark before, but you can keep shark if it's I'm not sure on the regulations now, but then I think it was bigger than 2 foot. If the shark's bigger than 2 foot, you can keep it, and it's pretty good eats.
Huh.
You almost steak it.
Yeah.
Because it's there's just cartilage. And so I've got it off now, and so now I'm holding this shark, and I'm taking it back to the cooler. And I remember my dad walking out there, and there's nobody else in the water, and people are packing up and leaving. It was like the movie Jaws, where everybody was leaving the water, and me and my dad are just walking back out there to catch more fish.
That's awesome.
So
That's fun.
it was a good one. It was a fun one. So there you go. Thank you for listening to Raising the Wild Ones podcast. We sure had a lot of fun making this episode, and I hope that you guys had just as much fun listening to it. Remember, give us a like, follow, share us on the social medias, all that kind of fun stuff. Rate the podcast, all those great things that you hear at the end of every podcast. We would like you guys to do that for us too. And tell a friend about this podcast. That is how we get more shares or all that kind of fun. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not really sure how this works. We just want more people to know about our podcast, and that is up to you guys. So tell a friend, tell your dogs, tell your cats. You know what? Just tell somebody about this podcast. And coming soon, hopefully we're going to get Patreon up and running so you guys can help us support us. There'll be some exclusive content over there from maybe the show notes to pretty much whatever else we think of. Maybe a episode of us dove hunting or an episode of us deer hunting, even though that might be kind of lame because it'd just be really quiet. and a quiet podcast doesn't really work too well. But we thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please stay tuned for more episodes to come. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can drop us a line at raisingwildonespodcast@gmail.com. Just let us know about possible ideas for other episodes you want to hear, or general chit chat, or just kind of whatever you want to talk about. You can contact us there, and we'd be more than happy to talk to you guys. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and tune in for more stuff to come.